All right, this is episode 26 of the MVP podcast. Today we have Erica Hudock. She is a sophomore at the University of South Carolina, went to Pine Richland High School, and has a big career in sports media, hopefully on the way. So welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. To kick things off, just kind of explain in a little more detail what you do and what you're up to these days.
So I am a student at South Carolina. I will be a sophomore in the fall. I am studying visual communications with a concentration in sports media and minor in film production. So I'm doing sports photography. That's my main focus right now.
Nice. How did you get into like the sports photography in the first place, or photography in general? We'll start there.
So photography in general, I went on a school. I always was interested in photography. Always watched like YouTubers of photographers and thought, wow, that's so cool. I want to do that. And then I got a little camera for Christmas one year. And then I went to Spain in April of 2022, my senior year, and brought my camera with me and just started taking pictures of everything everywhere. Didn't know how a camera worked. Didn't know like settings or anything. And I just ended up loving it. Got a bunch of compliments like, wow, your photos look really great. And then didn't really do anything with it. And then went to South Carolina and joined the school newspaper, the Daily Gamecock, as kind of like a hobby, just to continue photography, and then ended up loving it and got to go to, I started off with like, I went to a circus and took pictures there for articles, like a coffee shop, and then ended up doing volleyball, men's soccer, and then got into sports photography and then loved it enough to change it to my major.
Nice.
What's the circus? Like
Just
actual circus?
Yeah, it's like a circus that Carolina Productions put on. So they
cool.
Somebody was writing an article about it, and then they sent me as a photographer to match with that and
nice.
be a part of that. So that was pretty cool.
Most memorable shot from the circus, what was it?
The juggling.
The juggling?
With like 6 different things at once.
Was it on fire or something? Or was
No.
it just like pins?
No, it was just pins. It
Okay.
was was like bowling pins.
Very
It was
cool.
pretty cool.
Take us
event.
through some of your classes then at South Carolina. Like what does like a major, because me and Josh were both business majors, we didn't really have the chance to go. I mean, I don't know if you did, Josh, but I never took a single media class at Westminster.
Not really. I think maybe like a graphic design, but that was about it.
Yeah, so what do some of your classes look like, I guess, as a major?
So
in
I
production?
started off as broadcast journalism, so my classes were a little bit different, but I still had my media arts and film production minor. So I took media arts foundation. That was first semester, where we just talked about like camera lighting, camera basics, all this stuff. And then second semester in film production, I took script writing and cinematography and dove more into that route, which I really loved. And then I also took a sports media class with a really great professor about sports journalism and reporting. So yeah, that was really great.
Do you think that you've learned a lot from it, or did you come in like knowing a lot?
So for the photography aspect, as soon as I knew like I wanted to do photography, I was just taking pictures and I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was kind of just fixing camera settings until I liked how it turned out. So I went on YouTube and found guys that were explaining like camera basics and everything. So I ended up teaching myself like all the fundamentals of photography. So then in that first class that I had, it was kind of just review. And I mean, it was cool to see like different perspectives of how to teach the same thing. But for the most part, like I didn't really learn much in that class. But then my film production class of cinematography and script writing, that was really cool because I had never really taken anything like that. And I knew I wanted to go into that field potentially. So I learned about like how to set up a script, how to write characters, and just like the format of that and make that more clear, which was really helpful and great.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Like
Alex,
directing.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for the opportunities that like South Carolina has, especially the journalism program, because that school is a very good school and they have a lot of professors that know what they're doing and like are very eager to teach about it.
and that was all in like your first year too, so like it's 3 more to go.
I know, I'm excited.
What do you do? What do you take us through what you're taking like this year? What you're looking forward to the most?
So a lot of my classes this upcoming semester, biostats.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bio?
Biostat. But I'm very like I was going to be an exercise science major.
Okay.
I like considered that kind of a long time ago. So I'm excited to take bio. I might take that back in like a few months. But bio, stats. I'm taking Greek mythology, which I'm super excited about. English and sports broadcasting, like
Nice.
broadcast technician.
Greek mythology is really cool.
I know.
I'm
I've been so
fascinated
into
by
it recently.
Yeah, it's like crazy when you like you could go into a loophole of
Oh, I know.
reading just the stories because the stories are fascinating.
Yeah.
My buddy who was a Greek, I'm trying to think, not Methodist, but like his religion was like Greek Orthodox. When we were kids, we always thought he believed in Zeus. Like, dude, you believe in Zeus?
No, that's
That's
like a
fun.
common like thing to think.
Misconception, but that'd be a cool class. I
Yeah.
wish that was a class that
I know.
they
I'm
had.
excited. It's like a social science credit, but I'm so excited to take it. I love that stuff. Like Greek and Roman history. It's my favorite.
Yeah, just to think of where it came from. Imagine the
know.
guys that
Yeah.
originally made those stories.
I know.
That's what's crazy.
I know. And they use the stars too in the astronomy to
Yeah.
I heard a
Put
lot
it
of
all
it.
together.
I heard a lot of it came from. It was like poison wine. That was like an ergot. It's like poisoned wine. So like when they drank it, it'd be like
And then they'd write these
they
stories.
write all these stories.
yeah.
Rumor
Hey,
has it.
I mean,
yeah.
it makes
It's
sense.
crazy.
It's some dedication, though. I mean, some of these are really in depth.
You got to ask your teacher.
long.
Ask them about it. Just be like, were
I'll
these
ask
guys
about the
hallucinating?
poison wine,
Yeah,
yeah.
were these guys hallucinating when they wrote this?
Yeah.
See what they say. Like, I'm just curious.
No, I definitely
like
will.
A teacher be like, no, you're kidding.
Because
like,
that's
you're
so
lying.
much to just make up, you know, and
Yeah.
for so many people to like be on board with.
Yeah. So what's the goal? South Carolina, you're going right now for all these different majors and classes, and you're enjoying the media production side. Is it producing on a game day, or what's the big picture? I guess.
I would say right now,
Or do
and
you
it's
know?
changed. It's
You don't need to
changed a
know.
lot.
It
You
is
don't
very
need.
early.
You
Yeah.
don't need to know
Yeah.
because
I think
I didn't
both
even
of
know.
us changed at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
100%.
Well, originally I first came into South Carolina, and I was so set. I'm going to do sports broadcasting, going to be a sideline reporter, going to be a news anchor. Like, this is what I'm doing. Then I tried everything. Like, joined SGTV, which was the Student Gamecock Television Network. Was doing like technician stuff in the back, was doing producing, anchoring, and then I tried all of it and was like, I can't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. Which I thought I would want to do that for the rest of my life, and I was like, I don't love it, which was totally fine. So joining Daily Gamecock, the newspaper, as a hobby was like the best thing I could have done because I loved photography so much more, where I wanted to work really hard at it. So I would say like my goal right now would be a team photographer for some type of professional sports team. I have also been really interested in European soccer and being
I was
a
waiting for
photographer
that.
for them.
Soccer.
Yes. Yes,
That's
I
where
would
the mon-
love
that's
to
where the
do
money's
that.
at. Go to
Yes.
Saudi Arabia, get that.
you just gotta go.
game market
Well, that's
track.
true.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
The soccer contracts
For
are
sure.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, but I'm honestly like a dream company that I would love to work for. Obviously, ESPN or like a team for the NFL, but Red Bull, specifically Red Bull surfing.
Red
I
Bull
think-
Very
surfing.
niche.
Yes.
I was surprised
like
by
it,
the
though.
surfing call though. Why
Yes.
surfing?
Well, because I love the beach.
That's a good point. You'd
Yeah.
be at a beach.
You know,
All
I
the
would just
time.
I would be able to travel. I would be able to be around very fun, adventurous people,
Uh-huh.
and take photos as a living. And I think that would be absolutely amazing. I think that's one of the dreams, but I have multiple. I like to keep it pretty open.
Yeah, it's good to have multiple dreams.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's cool to have very like specific ones like that.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear many people who are like Red Bull surfing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
You're
hey,
in a niche
you never
market
know.
too.
Yeah.
So
Even
that's
like
sweet.
anything
Bull's
Red Bull in
badass.
general, honestly.
I know Red Bull
It's
is the
badass.
Did you
coolest
see
company.
the dude that like skydived in the point in Pittsburgh like
No.
a couple months ago onto a jet ski? It was like
onto
a Red
a
Bull
jet
guy,
ski.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked.
Yeah, I'll have to show you after. But it was like I think it was probably May or maybe April. Some dude jumped out of a plane with like a Red Bull parachute, went down and landed on a jet ski that was moving in the water. It's pretty crazy.
Well, you get to do so many cool things too because you have to think about like who's behind them filming all of that.
Yeah, there's a ton of people.
So you get to do all these really adventurous, cool things, which I would also love to do.
You jumping out of an
And-
airplane?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
I want to go skydiving so badly.
Yeah?
Maybe not with a camera for the first time, but you know.
I don't know if I could do the skydiving.
Oh, I would love it.
My,
I
one
can't
of my
wait.
best friends just did it in
Really?
Chicago. He like sent a video and he was like this the whole time.
You're
like,
going to
shaking.
Chicago.
I am. I will not be skydiving though. I'll
should.
tell you that. I'm not. I had somebody try to tell me to do it. My friend's family in Bethel Park. They go every year to Grove City.
Oh yeah,
They
I
There's
forget you
skydiving
can-
in Grove City.
Yeah, all
Yes.
the time.
How old
you
do you have
didn't
to be?
know that?
Have you ever gone to the Grove City outlets?
When I was really young.
If you go there like on like a weekend day or like a Saturday or Sunday,
There's
you'll
skydiving?
routinely see
All
dudes
day.
just skydiving.
All day.
How old do you have to be?
I think 18.
I'm
Oh
sure
my
it's
gosh.
18. Yeah,
My weekend plans.
I would laugh if you're up there next weekend doing it.
Yeah.
That's pretty local too. I see it all the time up there.
Oh my gosh, I would love to do that.
You would see it from New
Yeah.
Wilmington. You could see it from Westminster. Like you
Yeah.
could see them
Oh,
going up
cool.
in the planes,
Mhm.
the little single props.
That's so cool.
And once you go up there, there's no going back.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
committed.
for sure.
Yeah. No, like
Yeah,
they,
you
they
can't
lit-
back. No, they like
no,
push you out if you
yeah.
decide to back
Do
out.
you think if someone was
can't
like,
not do
I'm
it.
not doing it, I'm not doing it, if they're just like, okay, or if they just force you out?
No, they
No,
force you out.
They force you out.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Because I think it's something with like landing. It's like a
Oh, yeah.
hazard because
Because
the
they probably
planes-
take so many people up.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's only a single prop, so like landing is the not so good part. Getting up in the air is easy, but coming down with all the people is not good.
Yeah.
Like right before you get out, they
Yeah.
just shove you.
That's
No,
wild.
Skydiving though, I mean, being a part of the Red Bull team would be insane.
Oh, I know.
Are you a good skier? Can you ski and snowboard?
No.
No?
I've skied once in my life.
Seven Springs?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You like doing that, like following behind people, like those videos.
I want to do that.
Oh, you have to be a professional.
Yeah.
That's what, like, one of the videos that, like, inspired me, like, early on was seeing people just chasing skiers down over the jumps and stuff. And I was like, I want to do that. Haven't done that
Yeah,
yet.
that's hard enough as it is without.
It's hard enough to ski without a camera
Oh yeah.
over jumps and stuff. I can't imagine how hard it is to do with, like, a full setup.
Yeah. I would
Maybe
love to get
someday.
better at skiing. I've just only been once.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard sport to really get good at, I feel like, unless you have, like, a lot of resources or, like, I mean, you basically have to dedicate because you're going to be away from,
Yeah.
you're going to be living in a mountain, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know Elena.
Yeah.
I mean, she
She's
was
cross
pretty
country
dedicated.
skier. She was amazing.
She was a
she
dog.
is amazing.
That is
Yeah.
a workout.
Oh, I
Cross
know.
country skiing. We go every year or try to. I just got new skis this past year.
We'll have to go this year.
I'm
We should
looking
take a
forward to
trip.
it.
We should go to, like, out west somewhere.
Oh, that'd be nice. Go to Boulder.
Boulder,
yeah.
Whistler,
That would be cool.
anywhere.
I'll probably get elevation sickness, so
You
a
would?
little baby. My dad and mom, they went and did it. My dad was like sick the whole trip.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I don't know. I have a
Yeah,
bad
it's
feeling
common.
it
What
might be
if-
in my
In your
genes.
DNA.
But I got to test it and find out, so I have to.
Maybe
do
we
it.
go local, like Vermont.
Vermont.
Yeah,
That would be
Yeah.
cool.
that's pretty cool up there, I've heard. But anyway,
I think I know somebody that has a ski place in Vermont.
might be worth checking out.
I don't know if they still have it or not,
Ugh.
but
We'll look into it.
I think it's worth an ask.
Yeah, you should go.
How did you end up at South Carolina in the first place?
So, South Carolina was never a school that I wanted to go to.
Really?
Yes,
That's
my
crazy.
dream school was Texas Christian, TCU.
Mm.
Wanted to go there so badly. Got waitlisted. Super expensive school. Just realized that it wasn't realistic for me to go there. So then I considered UNC Wilmington because I really wanted to be on the beach. And Wilmington is like a very big film spot. So if I wanted to just do film production, just do script writing, cinematography, which I was really interested in, I was going to go there. But then I was thinking about, well, if I then decide I want to work in athletics, I don't want to transfer schools rather than just transferring majors.
Right.
So realized that probably wasn't in the cards for me. So it was like, I think April 29th or something. I was like, I have no idea where I'm going to school. Decision day is in 3 days. So I had toured South Carolina the summer before because my twin sister, Katerina, really liked it. And I remembered, like, okay, it's a pretty campus. Like, they have great athletics. Then I was like, okay, maybe I'll do broadcast journalism. So I searched what schools are really good for broadcast journalism. South Carolina was like, it was like Syracuse, TCU, South Carolina. Like, it was up there. So I was like, okay, well, this is my best option. I'll just go here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I ended up there. And up until recently, I didn't think that I would stay there. But now I've had, like, I was going to transfer to UNC Wilmington in the past fall semester. Then decided not to. Then I was going to transfer again to possibly Coastal to still, like, work in athletics but be at a smaller school. But now have just had like the biggest change of heart, and I'm so excited to go back. And I realize how great of school it is for what I'm doing, how awesome my professors are, how the classes I'm taking are so cool, and how many opportunities I've already had within my first year, and how that would just continue. And I kind of felt like I would be selling myself short if I were to start over again. Not that I didn't have like the confidence in myself to work hard enough to get the same experience at a different school, but just I feel like there's so many exciting things to look forward to there. So now I'm really excited to go back.
Yeah.
So I hated South Carolina at first, looked for so many reasons to transfer out of it, found so many reasons to transfer out of it, and now I couldn't be more excited to go back.
Hey, you love to see it.
Yeah.
That's the way
It
it
all
goes. I
happens.
mean, that's what
Yeah.
college
But
is
everybody
about.
hates, like,
I'm
so
gonna
many
pull this
students
guy.
hate their...
Pull it right there for you.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
I know. I
fading
was
in and out of
wondering
mine.
if it was
No,
really
you're good, you're good.
close. It's so hard to adjust to such a big school, especially coming from Richland. Like, there were 365 kids in my grade. I lived in 2 of the same houses my whole life, lived in the same town my whole life. Then suddenly I'm at a huge school with 40,000 students. It's hard to adjust to, and I think a lot of students experience that, so it's very common to not love your first semester. But it did get better the second, so.
I went through the same exact
Yeah,
thing. I
me
went
too.
to
It's
Westminster, and like you're in a dorm and you're getting used to it, and it's such a change of pace. And I mean, you're hundreds of miles away, too, which is also crazy.
We're like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I partially didn't like South Carolina because I wanted to go somewhere even farther. I couldn't wait to get as far from home as possible. So I honestly thought, because there are a lot of Pittsburgh people that go to South Carolina, so I wanted to do something totally different. Like, I wanted to be in Texas or California, or kind of do something that was not very common around here.
Yeah.
So I thought South Carolina wasn't far enough, but now I realize that, like a 10, 11 hours it's far enough.
It's a pretty nice drive.
Yeah,
12 hours
I know.
or flight
I know.
even.
Yeah.
And it's not easy flight down there
No,
either.
it's not.
There's no
It's not
direct
direct.
flights.
You
have
have to go to
take-
Charlotte.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I think almost everybody probably goes through that to some extent their first year. And I think, at least for me, like my sophomore and junior years were way better than my freshman year and my senior year too, except for COVID happened during my junior year. But other than that, it was great.
100%.
So it's just part of the process. And the whole
Yeah.
switching majors and like not knowing fully what you want to do. I think nobody does. Everybody's just faking it.
Yeah, I agree.
Till they
I
do,
mean,
but-
literally, me and you, like, case in point, like, we didn't even know we were going to.
I don't know if we still
do.
have any
Yeah.
idea what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's the fun in it, but it's just
Yeah.
like crazy. Like we were talking, I mean, 4 years of college, like you use it to enjoy and buy yourself a lot more time too.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a good way.
it's-
We've talked about that
it's
before.
like you
It
buy
basically
time.
like gives you 4 more years to like figure yourself out. Which if you didn't go to college, you had like the clock starts as soon as you graduate
Yeah.
high school, pretty much.
Your growth all
So-
happens too. Like I mean,
Yeah,
I feel if we didn't go to school, then neither me or you would be like the type of people we are. But
yeah. You change
it's weird.
a lot.
It's odd. But I
in
remember
little
my
ways.
freshman year vividly at New Wilmington, where it's like Amish horse and buggies.
Yeah.
Walking around, I call my dad.
Yeah.
It's like week 2, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't
this,
know,
man.
man.
I'm in this dorm, and I'm like, there's cinder blocks all over
It's
the
like
place.
jail.
It's crazy. It's not too nice living
No.
on campus there, but
Yeah.
But you
like,
grow
I
to
don't know.
love it though at the end. Like
You
I
do.
love it up there now, especially in the summertime.
Yeah.
But
And even being back here for 4 months, because I've been home since May 1st, which is
Yeah.
a very long time.
Mhm.
There's so many things about it that I miss that I never thought I would miss.
yeah.
And I don't think I would be as excited to go back as I am if I didn't spend so much time hating it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I have such a newfound and different appreciation for it that I don't think I would have ever had if I hadn't hated it at first.
Yeah.
it's
a good
crazy.
way to
How,
look at
it's
it.
crazy how you could do that with like other things too.
Oh, I know.
Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something for me. It's like I hate swimming. Like I don't know. I don't want to swim, but then like you get into a pool and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is nice.
I don't know how to explain it,
I
but
know.
it's weird how like you do that though.
Just your mind. Your mind's crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's wild.
Just like the people that made the Greek mythology stories.
Yeah. The poison
Yeah.
wine.
Yeah,
It's all what it
nuts.
comes back to.
Yeah.
Take us through. I just remembered this off my head, but the trip you just took to Nashville for the Women in
Yes.
Sports Conference.
So there's an organization called Sports Girls Club, which is just an organization that helps women in sports and gives them outlets, and like they post job offerings, and they held a conference in Nashville. So me and this other girl at South Carolina started like a branch club of it. So it's girls club at USC. So the CEO of girls club invited me and this other girl to the women's sports conference in Nashville, and that was great because it was just all, there were about 50, no, there were more than that, probably 100 girls that all came from all over the country that were either starting a branch club at their school or just were women in sports and wanted to go to the conference, and they had different guest speakers from all over, like from the Nashville Predators. There was a speaker from there, and it was just a really great opportunity to be surrounded by so many girls my age that have the exact same goals or interests and want to support each other. And it was a very uplifting community rather than a competitive community, which was really great. And I learned a lot. I was so grateful. I was so happy that I went. Learned a lot, met a lot of great people, made great connections, learned a lot about like networking and how important relationships are. I think that was like my biggest takeaway from it, is how important it is to connect with everybody, reach out to people on LinkedIn, like ask them for their advice, and if you want to be in a position that they are in their career, like ask them their path, how they got there, what they would do if they were you in your shoes and stuff like that. So
People
very
love
grateful
that
that
shit.
I went.
Yeah, people
it
love
makes
it.
It makes them feel good about themselves, that people are looking at them and admiring them.
Yeah, and I think too, like, you get to a point where you think in your head, if you're a good person, you go, I was that kid or I was that young girl that was in your shoes, and like I should pave it forward now because someone gave me a shot or something like that. That's cool though. That's a really cool like opportunity down there. What's, I guess, the goals with the clubs that you want to make at USC then, like the girls clubs? Is it just kind of like networking? Is it to get opportunities like internships, like things like that?
Kind of like specifically at South Carolina, go to the different clubs. Say like Student Gamecock Television is looking for an anchor for Palmetto State Sports Show that we have on Wednesdays, where we at Girls Club USC would then make information about it and then send it out to girls, and like do the same thing with different opportunities around campus, and find like professors, and have at all of our meetings we're having like guest speakers where people come in and give like their insight of their career and how they got there, and just build a supportive community where people can reach out to each other and depend on one another and like uplift each other in
That's cool.
the world of sports.
That's
really
awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
That's big.
I know, I'm excited to get started.
What's your favorite sport? Actually, Alex, you go ahead.
No, I literally just thought about it. I was like, you mentioned it earlier. Did you say you were a twin?
Yes, I'm a twin.
Fraternal or?
Fraternal, very fraternal.
Okay.
We could not be more different. So
Really?
I always grew up as an athlete. I was a competitive gymnast growing up. Played lacrosse my whole life. Really had no childhood other than gymnastics. She was like, I think she literally took her first steps in Cinderella plastic heels. Like she's at Kent State.
Yeah.
She's doing fashion merchandising. We have never like competed. A lot of twins, and a lot of twins that I have met, they are identical. They have like played on the same sports team. We have nothing like that in common. We could not be more different. We look nothing alike. She's super tall, like looks, personality, everything so different. But
That's crazy.
I know.
Like how that works.
I know.
Blows my mind.
Genetics. It's wild.
Do you guys talk in telepathic communication, or is that real or is it bullshit?
No. Okay. So yeah.
Do you know? Do you like know if you can you? I guess it's probably more body language that you would like read somebody or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, okay. I think it's obviously not like I can't read her mind.
No.
Like what people are like. Oh, what is she thinking of right now? It's like I don't know.
That's probably you
yeah.
get that asked all the time being a twin too. I'd be so annoyed.
Yes, but I think there is such a special bond and connection that comes with being a twin.
That you
Like
just know.
I feel like if something were wrong with her, in a way, like I could feel it. Like I would just have this
Gotcha.
gut instinct of like something's wrong,
You just
and
know.
I would just know it.
Yeah,
Which is so
It's
cool.
wild
Yeah,
how that works.
I love being a twin. It's awesome.
This is kind of a side note, but I love when you can hear like the birds in the background.
Oh, I know.
over here.
It's nice.
I love doing it outside. It's so different than doing it inside.
It's so peaceful.
You don't see a lot of outside podcasts.
I know.
Too bad we only have like 6 months out of the year. Well, not
To
even.
do it up here.
That
Yeah.
we could do it like
Yeah.
outside. Wintertime, it's a
Like
no-go.
60 days in Pittsburgh where it doesn't rain either.
You should do
Yeah.
one in the winter. Like bundle up.
Maybe that's the move someday.
It could be a
Imagine
possibility.
It's snowing and we're just out here like, all right, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
Fire going.
Freeze. That's a
That
good
would be
point.
cool.
A
Actually
fire,
might be-
a fire would make it work.
It would make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason we couldn't do it, really. So maybe
That'd
we'll
be
add
neat.
it to the list.
Yeah.
I like the idea. So gymnastics, that was the first sport.
Yes, that was first sport since I was 3 years old, competitively until I was 12.
Did
was
you
my
max
whole
out the
life.
levels? Did you max
No,
out? Okay.
I stopped at level 8. I was just burnt out, and I got hurt. I hurt my back, and it was my whole life, every single day, 7 days a week, 4 hours every single day in the gym. Like, it was intense, and it was a lot mentally, and it was a lot on my body for an 11, 12-year-old to do that consistently every single day. I think I quit at a point where I didn't really know why I was going every single day for that long. Like, I didn't have the connection of, okay, this could be my future. Because when you're 11 and 12, like, you don't really
Yeah.
think about, my goal is to do this in college. Like, yeah, I had that in the back of my mind, but I wasn't going to the gym every day thinking about that. So I kind of just got burnt out, and then I got into middle school and was like, oh, I see all my friends, like, they're going to the football game on Friday, but I can't because I have gymnastics, and it was just my whole life. So I kind of just took a step back and was like, you know what, I don't love it anymore. I mean, it's expensive. It's a
Yeah.
tough sport. So I just
Gymnastics
But-
really seems like a grind, though. Any
Oh, it
person I've
is.
known that's done it, it's like a lifestyle
yeah.
to
You're-
really get to that level.
It
of,
is.
Like, I mean, not even to get to the pro level, just to do it in general. It's like they're there every day.
Yeah, and I had coaches. I played lacrosse too, through like middle school and high school, and I played club lacrosse at South Carolina. But any coach that I've had has told me that they can tell that I was a gymnast because so many athletes that used to be gymnasts have such like a different level of discipline because of how intense gymnastics is.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
So
fair.
I'm very grateful for all the coaching and experiences that I had through that.
Yeah, it seems to be the case too with a lot of people that go through gymnastics. It's like you
Yeah.
get to the level like 6, 7, but it gets to be to that point where it's like this is a lot.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of girls like get injured. It's like you get injuries at like 11 or 12, and you're like, that's not good.
Yeah.
So I
for
get
sure.
it. I get it.
Oh, yeah. So what's your favorite sport then?
My favorite sport is lacrosse.
To play
To play and to watch.
and to watch? What about
And
to like film
watch.
To film?
or photograph? I'm used
Baseball.
to the video. Baseball.
I really like
okay.
baseball. I really liked photographing baseball. I did it the most. Maybe that's why it's my favorite.
Mhm.
But it was a challenge where baseball's kind of the same every
Yeah,
game.
every
It could be
game's
the
very
same every
repetitive.
game. Very repetitive.
Yeah.
So it was more of a challenge to challenge myself creatively of how can I make this portfolio of this game different from the last.
Mhm.
Like whether that was editing or like different angles, whatever. So I really liked that, but football was really cool too because I was on the one time I did football last year was during Tennessee where
Mhm.
we won and then ended up storming the field. So it was
yeah.
like the most
Nice.
incredible game to be out there, and
So you're part of the
loved
storm
it.
squad. Were you like
Yep.
taking pictures the whole time?
Yes.
Nice.
And
That's
during
awesome.
halftime, I realized, oh shit, like we might win.
Mm-hmm.
If I have this tripod and this lens this big, like
Yeah.
it's gonna break.
Mhm.
So at halftime, I went and put the big tripod in the back room, the media room, and thank God I did because that would have
Yeah,
been
that would've
broken
been a
for sure.
disaster.
Yeah, it was fun, but it
Yeah.
was tight crowd.
Baseball is fun though. Like
Yeah.
once you get used to it, like you said, you
Yeah.
have to get really creative because everything's the same each day, and sometimes it can be tough to like find the motivation to be like, I'm gonna go shoot in the, like this past week I was like all the way at the top of PNC shooting down, and shout out Mike Bell too. Actually, Mike Bell found me.
No
I
way.
saw that on your Instagram
I was
story.
like, I saw a bunch of people at this game, but I was sitting there and he's like, "Excuse me, sir, you got to get out of that seat." I was like, I heard him coming up the thing, so I knew it was him. But like going all the way up and shooting down is like a really unique perspective, and like there's just so many different ways
Yeah.
you can change it up.
That's my type of seats up
It's a
there.
challenge. I love it.
I
Like
know
the
that angle.
nosebleeds?
Yeah.
You were up there that one day.
That was Julia's club seats there. Those are clutch, but
Yeah,
in the past it was like the $5 section only.
But
That
it's
was
not
me
bad
on
up there
top.
though. Like it's
Any
great view.
any seat there is a good
It's kind of
seat.
like quieter
In
too.
PNC
Like
Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
there's not a bad seat in that ballpark.
No.
No,
And it's just a cool atmosphere in general.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
Baseball, it's hard to get highlights of though.
oh yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
like you
kinda
have to be on it.
you have to be on it, and you almost have to like predict the play too sometimes because
You see
don't
a ball
know, like,
flying out
oh,
left
this
field.
guy might steal. Like if you don't know, like, so it's honestly luck. A lot of it.
Yeah.
It's just you're looking at the right thing at the right time, or you might be photographing the batter, and then not realize that the outfielder's about to make like a crazy diving play because you're just zoned in on one person. So it's kind of tough in
Yeah.
that way too. But
Yeah.
I hear an airplane. That's
Another
crazy.
one. Buzzing.
Buzzing the house.
What's been some of your best experiences filming the football games? Are you a big football fan?
I am a big football fan. I
Or
only did
taking
it
pictures, I should
once,
say.
but that was such a great. That was the week. So I went to UNC Wilmington the weekend before I shot at South Carolina, Tennessee.
Okay.
So that was the weekend before. I was like, okay, I'm going to UNCW to see if I'm going to transfer here. And then the next weekend, I was on the field taking pictures at South Carolina, Tennessee, and I was like, how would I leave this? Like, this is so unbeatable. This is incredible. This is amazing. That was definitely that was probably the top experience. Also, March Madness for women's basketball because South Carolina women's
yeah.
basketball team is
I forgot
incredible.
about that.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
That was a
So
really
that
good
was
season.
that was really amazing. Just like being in the media room with all of these professionals from ESPN and March Madness specifically, and like getting my own credential that said March Madness and then my name was just like a really cool experience because I was in the same room as all these people that like I really looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a really cool experience. I mean every game is different and special in its own way. So
The women's March
Yeah.
Madness this year was nuts.
oh, I know.
Yeah.
I was so devastated though because South Carolina didn't win.
Who'd they lose to?
They lost to Iowa.
Iowa, Caitlin
And then
Clark,
Iowa lost to
LSU.
But I was so disappointed because Darius Rucker went to South Carolina. And the year
Okay.
before, when South Carolina won, he performed like a free concert at South Carolina because the women's basketball team won, and he was going to do it again if they won again. And
Missed
they
out.
didn't win. I know.
There's always this year,
Yeah,
right?
there's always next year. So
There always is.
They were good. They they said they got more viewership from the women's March Madness this year by like 2 times than the guys. Did you see
yeah.
that?
I
It was
did see that. It was
nuts.
Numbers
crazy.
are up.
Yeah.
Numbers are up.
I think
Numbers are up.
it's a turn for women's college basketball. Like a lot of people are noticing it now, and they're like, "This is legit. It's entertaining." I
It
loved
is
it.
entertaining,
I loved
yeah.
it. Like the championship game when the girl was talking shit, like everybody gave her.
I know,
her
but it's
talk.
fun.
But
It's
yeah, it's
fun.
entertaining. Like I give her credit because she's like adding another value to
Yeah.
women's sports that like traditionally wasn't the case in the past. Like
Oh,
you
for
don't hear
sure.
people like talking back and forth at each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's like shoving it in Caitlin Clark's face.
I know. No, she definitely
Oh,
got
yeah.
a lot of viewership for sure.
Oh yeah, and then like next thing you know, everybody was curious to what she was doing, and like
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark's coming back another year. I don't think that girl's coming back though. I forget her name.
Angel Reese.
Yeah.
I think she is.
Is she?
Yeah, she said that she didn't want to go to the WNBA right away because she was making more money in NIL.
That's
Okay.
wild.
Which crazy.
Isn't
It's so
That's
nuts.
crazy.
I
Changing
saw
the game.
Charles Barkley said it last night. He's like adamant that it ruined like college basketball because
I saw
everybody
that.
can just do or they college sports in general, I guess, because you literally can bounce from team to team and just rake in money whenever
Yeah.
you want. It's nuts. But I think that Angel Reese is cool because then it comes back to her versus Caitlin again, I guess,
I
at some
know.
point. That'd be
That's
sweet.
pretty cool.
It is
It's
pretty
good.
wild. So have you run into any like big obstacles along the way? I know it's still early in your career, but any obstacles along the way, and how have you dealt with them?
Yeah, honestly, I would say the biggest one was questioning whether or not I was in the right place. Being South Carolina, like questioning transferring was definitely the biggest obstacle, just because no matter how well I was doing or how successful I was being, I always felt like, well, what if somewhere else had something so much more? So questioning that was a really big challenge, and changing my major, but that really wasn't that big of a challenge because I knew deep down that I was going to go with what I loved more than what would potentially like make me more money. with broadcasting. And a lot of people tell me that, like, stick with sports broadcasting, stick with production, stick with this. But it is a really competitive field. And if I didn't love it and I wasn't passionate about it, then I wouldn't have I wouldn't have enough motivation to work hard at it because my heart just wouldn't be in it as much. But like with photography, it's like I don't really care how much money like I'm potentially making because I think opportunities will arise if I am passionate about it because I won't get burnt out as easily because I love doing it. And like I know that's the path that like I want to work really hard at. And if there are difficulties, then like I'm willing to go through them because I love it.
Yeah,
it's really good.
That's a good way to look at it because I think everybody kind of gets. It's easy to get caught in like chasing the money, and like a lot of people will give you advice like, "Well, you'll make so much more doing this."
Yeah.
And while that may be true, sometimes like a lot of times, if it's something you're truly passionate about, you can still make just as much money. There's ways to still make equal amounts or more, and it's also something you're passionate about. So it's not even like working. And like you said, it's easier to get through obstacles. And you can be more motivated because it's like it's your thing, you know. You're not just doing
you're
it
willing
for a
to go
paycheck.
through those hard times because you know that because you love it, that'll push you through to be successful in it and to get you through it to the end.
So yeah, anytime people are like, "Well, you'll make more money doing this," it's probably bad advice.
Yeah.
To chase the money.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it when I first started school trying to do engineering, because it was like,
you're an engineering major?
Yeah, when I first
I didn't know
started.
that.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, I'll make $80K out of school," and then midway through, the first semester, I was like, "This isn't for me," and then switched to marketing and business whenever I went to Westminster, and then I didn't switch to that till like my junior year. Still graduated pretty much on time too, which is crazy. People always say like, "Oh, you're gonna take an extra semester," and I was like, "Nah." It worked out.
Yeah.
But
that's a good thought to have though as a freshman, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Or an incoming sophomore, I guess now.
You're ahead of the game.
Yeah, because
sure.
If you know that you love it, I mean, just to, I think having like the experience of being down in South Carolina too and experiencing like a game, is that where you think that love came for why you want to go and be like pro? Is it, you said football team earlier, right? Like a pro.
Any
pro
professional
sports
team.
Yeah. Is that
probably
like why?
Football probably would be the dream.
Yeah.
Or football or basketball. Basketball behind lacrosse is probably my second favorite sport.
Is college lacrosse is pretty intense. Like,
I love college lacrosse.
Yeah. Do you watch guys and girls?
Yes.
Okay.
Like that is my favorite thing. The tournament this year with like Notre Dame in the men's championship.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty big deal this year. I remember seeing a lot of press.
Yeah, the guy played with a broken leg, didn't he?
He played Pat Cavanaugh played with a torn hamstring, and the way that his trainer did it was they taped his leg in a way that gave him kind of like an artificial hamstring.
That's
so that
crazy.
He can still play.
What a
and he's
gangster ass trainer. He's like, I got you. He's like looking at him. He goes, I need to play in this game. And he's like, let's make a fake hamstring.
I know. But lacrosse is just, it's my favorite sport. People like shit on it all the time. Like, lacrosse
I think
isn't fun, but the women's game and men's game are two totally different sports. Like, I'm not even going to deny that. But I love them both equally, and I would love
It's like hockey still, pretty much.
It's like field. It's like grass hockey.
Yeah.
On grass.
I
get confused by it. I think it's entertaining whenever I go watch it in person.
Yeah.
But
field hockey?
No. I was explaining like lacrosse is kind of like hockey on grass.
Oh,
it
for
seems
sure.
Like,
It's very similar.
Yeah.
And lacrosse is super similar to basketball too, with the way like
really?
Yeah, I could see that a little bit actually.
With the way that the court is set up, and the way that
with like the crease around the net and the way they kind of like
the plays
pass
are very
to like
similar.
set stuff up.
The plays are similar.
Yes.
They are in a way that it's like they take a lot. It's not like hockey where you
like
just go in and you're just shooting a lot. There's a lot of like passing and like working in the zone to like set up a shot.
Do you like set screens on like guys and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff
that makes
like
sense.
that. So in that way, it's very similar.
I'm learning something new. Lacrosse. Lacrosse has always been something where I'm like, occasionally like flick on and watch, but.
I think people sleep on it, honestly. I think it's very entertaining, and I think it's fun to like take pictures and make videos with too, and
Yeah.
some people disagree, but I'm like, I don't know. I think it's fun.
It just
Yeah.
gets stereotyped so hard.
I think a lot of people
Yeah,
just
it gets
it
very
does.
stereotyped.
it's not a sport that's like everywhere either. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's still like a smaller community, and obviously it's pretty big around here, like the Pittsburgh area, but other areas it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So it's still growing. So a lot of people just kind of stereotype it, like you said,
Yeah,
because they've just never seen it
yeah.
or
For
took
sure.
the time to learn it. You know?
Or you met like one guy that played lacrosse,
and he was
like,
a douche, and you're like, oh,
you're like,
relax, bro.
you're rubbing me
Yeah,
the wrong
like you
way.
Any
play
lacrosse
lacrosse,
player
right?
I've met, just a douche.
yeah.
I feel like that's a common stereotype too.
Oh, for sure.
And then you're not giving a guy a chance if like within the first sentence he's going like, I'm a lacrosse player. Like, here we go.
I'm a lax, bro.
I'm a lax bro, yeah.
If you're a lacrosse player, do you call yourself a lax bro though?
I feel like
I
they
think
do.
oh the guys definitely do.
Yeah.
Not the girls.
They're
What do
their own
girls-
community.
What do the girls call it then? I'm just
Just
curious.
lacrosse player.
I
But
think
it's
they're
not
just
like I
normal.
would never be like I'm a lax girl or I'm
Yeah.
a lax
That's
bro.
what I was
like,
wondering.
Just
no.
normal people.
Yeah, I'm just a lacrosse player.
I play lacrosse for fun.
I play lacrosse. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'd say.
Pine had some really good lacrosse teams, right?
Yeah, they did. The girls team won the Whitfield Championship this past season.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Very cool.
pretty exciting.
I stay in the loop a little bit, but why? You mentioned earlier, soccer was in the mix too, like European soccer. Where does that come from? Like, are you a fan of like the EuroLeague soccer?
I mean, I love. Yeah, kind of. I mean, World Cup. I think everyone loves the World Cup when it
Yeah,
comes around every 4
very
years.
true.
So, that I would just love to be in Europe and work for a team there. I'm in the process of trying to teach myself Spanish.
Oh,
So,
That'll-
that's like a goal of mine. to be
Duolingo or
yes.
Rosetta Stone?
Yeah,
Duolingo. Okay.
Duolingo.
Duolingo.
So I'm. It's a journey for sure. I'm not
yeah.
good at it. I took Spanish in high school. Was horrible at it. But honestly, like that would be amazing to be able to speak a different language, speak Spanish, and then
Mm-hmm.
go over to Europe. And I can't even imagine like how marketable that would make me if I'm
That's
like
big for
interviewing for a
sports
job
too.
there.
'Cause
Yeah.
there's a lot of
for sure.
international athletes, and it's huge for that.
Oh yeah.
I wish I cared more in high school about it. That's the thing. Like, you in
Same.
high
Yeah.
school and you're like, oh, Spanish.
Same, because I took it for so many years. And I'm like, wow, if I applied myself for the 6 years that I took it, maybe I would be good at it.
I think it's because
But-
it's like you're forced it versus like
yeah.
choosing
Wanting
it
to,
yourself.
And then
you just don't pay attention.
everybody else is like Spanish, and then you go,
Yeah.
oh, I gotta hate Spanish too. So like
Yeah. No,
everybody's
for
like
sure.
jumping on the
Mentality.
hate on Spanish bandwagon. You're
Would
like,
you
"Yeah,
rather speak every language in the world, or be
perfect time?
the best in the world of something you're choosing?
I would. I was thinking about this question earlier.
I know
that,
my answer. but
I would rather speak every single language because think about how many. It's because the people that speak different languages have such different lives from so many different perspectives, different cultures, growing up so differently. Like think about how much you could learn because you were able to speak to people from all over the world. Like I think that is the coolest thing in the whole world to just be able to learn from other people based off of their experience that are totally different than yours. So
Yeah.
100% I would rather speak
I think it
every
would be
language.
cool because, like you said, I mean, there's so many languages. You could go anywhere and interact
Yeah.
and learn from people. But I think being the best in the world is something you're choosing.
My
What
my
would you
mind
choose?
my
Because-
mind is racing right now. I'm like,
Well, I have
what would
to
be
think
the
about what it would
coolest
be.
thing? If I think of like being the best in the world at basketball, okay, cool. Like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Like a sport would be cool.
Yeah.
But then I'm like thinking, all right, you could do better than basketball. Like what about like flying like fighter jets or something?
Oh,
Like just
Yeah.
out there.
I
Just
think
something
Like I want to be
crazy.
Maverick.
being
from
a
Top
fighter
Gun.
pilot's like one of the most badass jobs I
Ever.
think, period.
You're the
Yeah.
best.
There's
in the world.
nothing else out there like astronauts and fighter jet pilots.
Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick?
Oh,
Top Gun.
That's tough.
Original, 100%.
I'd probably go with the new one because I didn't really
Really?
pay too much attention to the first one.
the first one's story.
I feel bad for
that's,
you.
That's
That's
my problem.
unfortunate.
But
The first one was very good.
So good.
It
The best.
I just like the nostalgia factor too. Is like it's riding the old motorcycle, like the old
Yeah.
Porsche's in it, like it's cool. But like the new one's storyline, like the build
I
up, like
know,
they're
I
all
know.
training, like cutting through, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is insane.
I know.
And then, dude, when Maverick hops into the jet and like runs the course and does it in like 9 seconds, I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, oh my god, this
Yeah.
dude's sick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to go. I think I'm going Maverick.
Yeah.
I'll always stick
Yeah.
with the original.
me too.
But if you had
Good
your
for
one
you.
thing that you would be really good at, rather
Oh.
than speaking, what would it be?
Well, I would say golf, but I mean it's kind of like a generic answer, like
Yeah.
Alex said with the sports.
Sports.
But I love golf, and I wish I started earlier. My parents tried to force me to start earlier, but it was like I didn't want anything to do with it. And then I fell in love with it after, like once I was out of high school. But if it wasn't golf, then I would probably be in some similar realm of like
Something crazy,
something
cool.
badass, like
Wild.
Street racing, like in a car. I don't know.
street racing in a car. Like I don't
But
know
it's
what else
not,
there
that's
is to
not
do.
well known.
Yeah.
I don't know. Swimming and breathing underwater. I don't know. Something crazy.
Yeah,
like I
I
could
think
swim for miles
flying,
underwater.
like I'd have to
Yeah.
think about it honestly. Maybe like a chef, best chef in the world. You just
Yeah,
cook some
that'd be pretty cool.
really good
You
food.
could meet some cool people.
Yeah, you could. That would take you a lot of places.
Yeah.
So maybe
I wonder-
that.
I
What
wonder
about
if
you?
that
Did
would
you
be
say, you
Peter's
said
answer.
language.
Languages,
Yeah, and
100%.
you said
I said coolest thing.
Like a
It'd be the
fighter
best-
jet or a
yeah, it'd be the
racer or
best thing in
something.
the world.
I
don't
respect
know.
it.
It's odd. I wonder what Ryan would say if like he would be want to be
Ryan
the best
Peters
chef in the
Pasta?
world. Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Maybe we'll have to ask him again.
Like you know
Get
what
him
you're
on here
passionate
again.
about, but like do you want to be the best in the world at that thing though?
I don't know what he would say. It's a good question.
Well, I mean like it applies to like all of us. Like
Yeah.
if you enjoy like photography, but do you like want to be the best photographer in the world? That's
I already am. No, I'm just kidding.
statement.
Nah,
Mic drop.
I don't really
mic
care
drop.
if I'm the best in the world or not. I just want to be good at like my definition of good.
Yeah, I agree. That's
And
what
make the
that's what I
projects
think.
I want to do too. Like I hate whenever people try to like
Like, be your own best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or whenever you have to like try to make a project that fits within like certain guidelines. And that's like one of the challenges of like once you start doing it for money and like working with small businesses and stuff like that is like they'll have their view in their head of what they want, but they're hiring what I always try to get across, they're hiring me as like the artist to be like, all right, make me a cool video. I like when people are just like, make me a cool video. Like whenever I go and film Alex's detailing videos, he doesn't
Right
give
on.
a shit about what it looks like. He's just like, make me
Never.
something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus the people that are like, I want it like this, and this person in it, and this music. And I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
Just let me do my thing.
Once it becomes structure around it, you lose like all creativity aspect
Yeah.
of it.
But that's
You're
this-
getting to the point, dude, where it's just like you have your style though. Like you're
Yeah.
getting to a point
Yeah.
where you have style.
It's hard to
Your style.
you have to remember that sometimes too. It's like
Yeah.
because it's hard to enforce, and like sometimes you just have to like do stuff that's within the guidelines, or like they
Yeah.
want this X just to make the money, you know.
Yeah, to fit the mold.
But hey, we're getting there.
Yeah.
We all are.
I like it. I like the would you rather question though. I looked at
Oh,
this
yeah.
one and I was like, dude, what? All right. Would you rather find a person in your
Oh.
attic or 1,000 cockroaches in
person.
your attic?
I'd probably say a
A
person.
person?
Yes.
You'd rather find a person
Yes.
in your
1,000
my God.
cockroaches
Yes.
is bad time.
Oh my gosh. Because I would feel so
No
outnumbered, and I would be more frightened by
You guys are-
1,000 cockroaches than one person.
You
Because
guys
at
are
least
so
if it's one
wrong.
person, then I could like.
You could manage that.
Hopefully, I would get them when they were like sleeping or waking up, so they were like off guard, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" First of all, rather than them.
What
just,
are you
like-
doing?
You
here,
guys are
first of
so
all?
off. This
rather
is
than
so
like
wrong.
attacking me. But 1,000 cockroaches, I would move out. First of all, I would move out.
You
No
know,
way I
house
could
is
live
done.
there.
No, you know what I'm doing? Do. Termex, please come get all these cockroaches. Done deal. The person in your room, like,
911.
now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but listen though. Now, like, you go through your head and you're like, what was this person doing while I was sleeping? Like, you're not gonna
Yeah,
stop
that's
thinking about
true.
what the person was doing.
How
in your
long
attic.
they've been there.
Yeah, and then it's
Yeah,
like,
but maybe you could just like sit down and like
at least
have a civilized conversation with them.
oh hell no. There,
If they're in my
not a
house
chance.
uninvited, I'd be like, fuck out of here. Like,
What? Yeah. Yeah.
That would be bad.
You
for the
could become
person.
best friends.
the cockroaches,
Not
I just
happening.
think. 'cause
Not
if,
happening
If
at
they're
all.
in the attic, they're in the rest of the house. So like,
Oh yeah.
you're
Think about what
toast.
those are doing whenever you're sleeping.
Yeah.
I'd rather,
Probably really
I'd rather,
scary.
I'd rather
It's in
eat a
your mouth.
cockroach than somebody.
Be in your
Never mind.
attic.
Yeah, doing something else in the house that like I wouldn't know.
What if
about.
they were? What
That's
if
fair.
they just like were homeless and needed a place to go, and that your attic was the only place that they found where they couldn't get caught, and then
I'd
you
still
and then you
kick 'em
help them
out.
out, and then you become.
Nope.
No,
No, I
No.
would send them to like a
There's-
shelter or something.
Yeah, but
And I
I
would
wouldn't
call the
feel bad.
cops.
I'd be like, hey man, like you could have knocked.
I'd be sending his ass to jail.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not feeling bad about that at all.
I think I would try to like. I think I would try to like help them out.
That's
They-
fair.
he would
I
know,
respect it.
He would know better to live in your house. Though.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
They
at.
know
Yeah,
better
maybe-
than that.
Maybe I'm.
You're
Yeah.
too nice. See, like I would lose my mind.
I
Because
would
like
feel
I would.
really bad, you know? Like, if somebody's living in your attic,
No
Yeah.
like,
way.
they need help.
I'd feel
You
more
know?
bad if they were like sleeping outside though. If they're in my house just
Yeah.
uninvited, I'd be like,
No, knowing
bro,
me, I'd be
like-
like, do you need water? Like, are you good? Like,
here you
I
can have
I
this
would lose my
blanket.
mind. I'd lose my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's what I'm more scared of the person living in my house
Than
that I don't know about
cockroaches.
than cockroaches. Yeah. I don't
Cha-
know. I'm just I'm adamant on that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Such
Change
a
yourself
yeah.
or change the world.
oh, change the world 100%.
What do you
Rather
think?
than
What do you think we
myself.
got to change?
Well,
There's a lot of things, but
I think if you change yourself to fit into your environment, you end up losing yourself entirely.
yeah,
And like I've experienced that with South Carolina, with Pine Richland, with a bunch of different things. And it's like I would rather stay true to myself and be secure in my own individuality than try to change myself to fit my surroundings and fit my environment. Because I think if you're strong enough in who you are, in your morals and values, and this is who I am, this is how I act in this situation, like, then it doesn't really matter what your environment is, because you know that you will stay true to yourself through whatever those obstacles are. But if you try to
Yeah.
change the world to adapt, like, specifically to you, then you end up just losing yourself and become like everybody else.
yeah,
Very
I
true.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I think if you're happy with yourself, like, there's no point in changing.
Yeah.
Is Michael Jackson wrong then? Was Michael wrong? Start with the man in the mirror. I don't know. I'm like,
I
that's all I
mean,
can think about whenever you
yeah.
guys are
I
talking
guess
about it.
that is a good point
Like, you
too.
start-
Actually,
you have
the
to
first step is to change.
You could take
yourself.
this. You could take this question in a lot of different directions.
Yeah. Because it depends what
What you're
the
changing.
world, like, yeah, it depends what the situation is in your environment.
Yes,
you know?
that's
But
true.
if it's people specifically and you're trying to fit in with people, then I think always change your environment rather than yourself.
True, we talk
Like,
about
don't
it
ever
a lot.
change your personality to have somebody like you, because
Yeah.
then they like a version of you that isn't even you.
Yeah,
Be the same person in every room,
Yeah.
as they say.
Which is
Five-
hard to
the
do.
five
It's
people
weird.
that surround you are what you turn into. That's what they always say.
Oh, for sure. You become your environment.
You got to
it's-
hang with people that are with the same goals that you.
Yeah,
you
like
want.
you're the sum of your 3 closest friends.
Yeah,
It's so odd
So-
when you think about it too. Like, I sat back and thought about that, like trying to be the same person in every room, and like, then you
It's
start
hard.
really thinking, okay, how do I act around my parents? How do I act with my best friends? And it's like that person and that person is like almost. You
Yeah.
want to be like, I don't know. I mean the same, but that's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, and it's so easy to look at people and kind of thinking about what do they want out of me for me to be liked by them. Like, how can I change myself to be liked by them? And I felt like when I was younger, I was doing that because I was a people pleaser and I like wanted to be liked by everybody. But then I had no idea of like who I actually was. Like, I was just changing myself to be a version of me that like wasn't me, because it was just like an adjusted version so that I could fit in with the environment.
No, that's a good point. I think like being younger, it's tough to not do that. And,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's very hard to be your own person because like you're still figuring out who that person is too. So
For sure.
I get it. That's a good point though. I really like it.
I gotta ask the question we talked about. If you were the main character in a movie about your life, what would the audience be screaming at you right now?
Wait, you asked me that like last weekend.
Something like that.
I
When we
swear,
first
I
talked
have-
about the podcast, I was like, "Oh," you were like, "What's one of the questions?" I was like, "Well, I have this one that we
Yeah.
didn't talk about yet."
Genuinely, I have thought about that every single day since then.
It's a deep one.
It's a good
big.
question.
Mhm.
I would say that if I was on a movie screen and an audience was watching me, that the biggest thing that they would be yelling at was, "You don't have to do it all by yourself."
Yeah.
And that goes for like almost every single thing in my life, because I almost think that if I have success but I got help from somebody, that it discredits me. So I want to do it all on my own. But I think one of the greatest things that we can do, like, is looking at people's inspiration and learning from them and taking advice in a way that doesn't make you weak for needing help
Yeah.
with something, but learning from that and applying it in a positive way rather than, oh, they're doing this for me.
It's a good way to look at it.
A lot
But
of
I
people
want to
are.
like tackle everything
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
my own and have it all on my own. And it's like, well, if you're giving me advice, how could I trust that what you're saying is applicable to my life?
Mhm.
Like, I would need to see the end product before I were to apply that. So,
Yeah.
So many people our age do that too, where it's you take like our generation takes so much stress to like I need to be successful, like I need to do this, like I need to have that, and yeah, I mean, you really don't at like the end of the day. I mean, it's like really good to have dreams and aspirations and like push yourself, but to like add so much weight onto like things, it's like crazy when you think about versus people in college like today what they like were thinking about versus like the people back then in like the 90s. Like everybody in college like now is going to college thinking, oh, I gotta come out, I gotta get like this job, like I have to be like really productive, I gotta do like everything, versus like the people back in like the day of like the 80s and 90s like went to school and like I just want to go and have fun.
yeah.
Like it's crazy when you think about it. It's weird. Definitely out there.
Yeah. There's a
But
lot of pressure
I-
on people today's society.
Yeah.
But that's been a big thing that, like, I've been trying to change over the past couple years of just learning from people, asking for advice, asking for help, and applying that to my life because it doesn't make me weak or doesn't discredit me from any success that I have or will have. It's just because I don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers. But it's such a great thing to be able to look at somebody else's experiences and learn from them.
Mhm.
So,
That's big.
That's why we
Yeah.
do this too, I think, in part. Like
Yeah.
we literally just like talk to people.
yeah.
Like there's not
It's
been
like
one
fireside
person.
chats.
It is. Not one
Yeah.
person on this has been like very similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody's
Like-
been very different.
Yeah, no one's had like one in the two same stories that like happened.
Yeah.
Even people like that we've done that have been a lot of videography and photography,
Mhm.
completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you versus like Dylan or
Yeah.
Josh or
Ben
it's-
Tenuta.
Yeah, Ben. It's like crazy.
Oh,
It's
it's
just
man.
like there's
Yeah,
always
everybody
different
has
stories.
like their different route.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. What are you looking forward to most excited to go back to USC this upcoming year? Is it football?
Honestly, yes, it is football. I am so excited to go back and like enjoy the atmosphere of the game and just like all the students because so many people at South Carolina like genuinely love it there, and it is such a community with such a big sports environment, which is so wonderful to have.
Talk about the tailgates. How are the tailgates? They wild?
Honestly, I hate them.
You hate the tailgates.
Yes.
Why? Why do you hate
Okay.
the tailgates?
South Carolina, like if you look at any number one school tailgate, it's South Carolina's the number one because every single fraternity has their own tent.
They're
in
number
the
one?
Yes, every single fraternity has like their own tent in a frat lot, and that's what it's called, frat lots. And it's just like a giant mosh pit in every single tent, and it's very overwhelming. For
Uh-huh.
like, it's just a lot. I mean, it could
Yeah.
be fun, but it's a lot. you know?
Fraternities and sororities aren't for you?
No,
Okay.
no.
Good
I
for
respect it.
good for you.
It's just not my thing.
Agreed.
But honestly, the first year at South Carolina, like I was so grateful for all the opportunities I had and all the success that I had very early on. But I kind of came home at the end of the year and was like I had club lacrosse and I had those girls and I did have fun to an extent. But like I felt like I came home and I didn't really have that many memories and I didn't really make that many like core connections and friendships with people. So yeah, I had all these like great accomplishments, but I kind of came home and was like, well, I wish I would have just had fun a little bit more. Like that,
Yeah.
there needs to be. Not saying that I'm not going to work hard in the next year, but I do want to have more of a balance of letting myself relax, even in such an intense environment where I am working hard. Like being able to manage both. So I am really excited to go back and
Yeah.
experience that. But
I think
yeah.
you'll find the second year is a lot more.
Yeah.
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think it just gets better each year too. With having fun and like finding the balance of not like burning yourself out and going
Yeah.
too crazy, but still having fun on the side. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely have my priorities straight. I keep very organized. Like I have my calendar on my wall, my planner, everything's color coordinated, highlighted, and then I have a to-do list like every single day. Like I keep very organized because I just am forgetful and
You
I
have
just,
to though.
I know. Yeah, because it's so easy to get caught up in like forgetting what you have to do next. So
Yeah.
I write it all down, but then once I have everything laid out, I look at like where do I have a night blank where like I could go and do something fun, like hang out with friends, go to dinner
Yeah.
or whatever, and like making sure that I have a balance of those two things.
Yeah,
girls
it's
are
important.
girls are so planned out in comparison to guys.
Oh yeah.
I'm like thinking about how I was in school. I didn't plan a thing. Like
Yeah,
it
like when
kinda
you think
just
about it, it's
flows.
crazy.
But
I
honestly,
mean, like you
sometimes the best things happen whenever they're not planned at all.
right.
True. They
But
just
I
come
do like
together last
structure.
minute.
You like to structure like
Yeah.
the free time. It's like free time today at 7:15 through 10 o'clock.
Yeah, honestly, that's how it is. Yeah, like I have scheduled time where I get to watch a show or something.
Do you
Like,
schedule what show you're going to watch?
Yes. Like I
No way.
yes, I swear.
She's like-
No, I schedule like what YouTuber I'm like on my calendar last year.
Mhm.
Tuesday night, Theo Vaughn. Like
That's
Theo,
your
you're a
Vaughn?
Theo
Yes.
Vaughn guy.
yes,
no
I love
way.
Theo Vaughn.
I was watching
He's
Theo
my
today.
favorite.
I was watching Theo today and Gary Owen. He just did a podcast with Gary Owen. He's really good.
My favorite is Theo Vaughn did a podcast with Parker McCollum, who's my favorite country artist ever. And it was like my whole two worlds just combining, and it was
When worlds
it-
collide.
yes, it was the best thing. I loved it.
Big
Yeah.
country
Yeah.
person then?
Yes.
Country music?
Yes.
Who's number one right now?
On my list,
Sure.
John Party.
John Party.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Parker McCollum always number one. He's my favorite always. But recently, I would say John Party, Cody Johnson, Jason Aldean, Kenny Chesney.
Cody
Wow. You
Johnson,
got it all
number
figured
two.
out.
I really like
Yeah,
Cody Johnson.
I love Cody.
I've been on a big
yeah.
kick of his lately too.
He's
Do you
great. He's amazing.
Do you think like Morgan and Luke are real country or are they fake
Oh
country?
no,
What's the
they
difference?
definitely are
Mhm.
real country. But I mean, Morgan Wallen definitely has a lot of songs that are very pop.
Do you think he's too
sounding.
mainstream?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I would never say like my favorite country artist is Morgan Wallen. He's
Yeah.
good. I like him.
Mhm.
I would see him in concert, you know.
He is in top
Like-
5 though.
But he's not top 5.
That's fair.
I like the more like honky tonk country.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That-
John Party
yeah.
at number 1.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Luke
Cool.
Combs is very good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
He's really good.
We had that question last week. It was like I forget it, but it was between those three. Do you like Zach Bryan?
Oh, I love Zach Bryan.
Yeah,
Zach
he's
Bryan
more
and
he's
Tyler
more
Childers.
yeah, he's more like Americano almost. It's weird to explain.
But Zach
Yeah.
Bryan, like I would listen to alone. Like I would only listen to Zach Bryan alone.
That's fair.
Because he's like poetry. He's
Like
amazing.
poetry.
He is.
I never really listened to him until
Oh,
the
he's
last
so good.
podcast episode.
And I sent
when
you revival.
You sent me the revival,
11-minute
Yeah.
version.
the live 11-minute
You
version.
have to listen to Open
Then I
the
listened
Gate.
to the rest of that album of all the live songs, and it was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Listen to Open the Gate.
I have
live.
that on
That's-
my Spotify.
That
That's
song is
so
badass.
good.
Yeah, that
I
song.
got it
So
on
good.
there.
Every song is. New album
Yeah.
soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, he's like very gritty. I really wasn't
He
a big
is.
fan of him for the longest time, and then I really started listening this past summer. I was like, yeah, he's pretty solid.
I started
Yeah.
listening to him in like 2020.
OG.
First,
Yeah.
funny how people take that stance.
I
with
know,
music, too.
I know, but I
Like
swear,
I listened to him
swear.
first. I listened to him first. Remember, I sent you that song. Like
Yeah.
I put you on Zach
Yeah,
Bryan.
I take
Zach
credit
Bryan-
for that.
Yeah. People
I
get so
do.
funny with that.
Mhm.
It's so
I get like defensive about it.
yeah.
Just the way it is. Music
And
a
then
lot.
and then once
Yeah.
you like find a song that you like, you're like, I have to send this to people because like I want to be that person then now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then when you listen to it, you think of me. You know.
Facts. I think of Alex when I listen to it now.
There you
To
go.
Revival.
Zach Bryan.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is good.
There we go. It's in your
Um,
head now.
You got any closing remark to send a message to other, 18-year-olds that are kind of figuring things out, or girls that are looking to get into sports, follow their dreams?
Yeah, I would say I have a couple. Like, try everything because the path that you think that you're going to be on, you might think you have your whole life figured out before you even go to college. And I promise you it's going to change. It always does. You can't figure out exactly what you want to do unless you're there and you're trying everything. So I would say try everything, and even if it's something that you don't like, because if you try it and you don't like it, at least you have the security of knowing that you don't like it. And no experience is an experience wasted. Like, you can take bits and pieces from every single thing that you experience, even if it's that you don't like it. Another thing I think with photography specifically and videography and film in general is like, it is so competitive, but don't compare your work to anybody else's in a way of beating your own work down. Like, you can look at other people's portfolios with admiration and and be inspired by it without getting down on your own work, because everybody develops or has like their own creative style, and nobody's going to take the same picture that I do. Nobody's going to take the same exact video clip as you do. No, like, everybody has their own creative individuality, and you can't get down on yourself for looking at somebody like, oh, this is like, I need to be where they are. Like, yeah, you can look at that with inspiration and have that goal in mind for the future, but like, and I think supporting one another, like, one of my best friends at school, she's also a photographer, and like, we don't look at each other's work and compete of like, oh, I should have done this the way that she did this. We're competing against each other. It's like, her work is separate from mine, and we support each other so much in that. And I think like, connections are so important, and if you build that so strongly in a way of like supporting each other rather than being competitive of like, well, if you have this, then I'm going to be jealous of it and I'm not going to be close to you, or like spend time like admiring it, if that makes sense.
It does. Comparison's the thief of all joy.
It is.
So, I mean, that's like you said, though, it's very competitive in the creative world. In general, just in life's very competitive now. But in that, it's easy to fall down the rabbit hole, like comparing your work to others, and why is this person getting to do this and I'm not? My work's just as good. But you just kind of have to be grateful, like, keep doing your thing and trust the process.
Yeah, because everybody's path is different.
Exactly.
And yeah, you might have the same end goal as somebody, but the way that you got there is entirely different.
Yep.
So, and I would also say, like, don't put so much pressure on yourself, especially as an 18-year-old, to have it all figured out and to know it all, because
It's the truth.
you're always learning, and things change, paths change. And if you don't know what you want to do, I would say take it step by step rather than having like such a big end goal in mind. Like, just follow, what could I do next? Like, just follow the little steps and always go after what you're passionate about, because opportunities arise whenever you are passionate about it, because you want to work harder towards it. Kind of like the same thing with working for money rather than working because you love it. It's like, same thing with that, of do things because you're passionate about it, because that's how you'll have success and that's how you'll have happiness.
Yeah.
Right on.
Find your passion. That's
Find
a good
your passion.
way to close it down.
Yeah.
I like that closing statement. Well, thank you, Erica,
Thank
for
you for
coming on.
having me.
This was fun.
This
we
was
had
fun.
the sunlight in the back.
I'm glad
I
I
know.
put this light up.
Yeah,
'cause
we
we
were
would've needed
perfect.
it.
We would have been shut it
Yeah.
out. We wouldn't have been able to see anything. But thanks everybody for listening, and
Thank you for listening.
thanks for your time.
Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Peace.